Hey everybody, so this is going to be a full game gameplay of me playing Evolve. I was at 2K Studios last week to play the game. If you haven't watched the video where I play as the monster, I would encourage you to do that first. The monster gameplay, maybe a little bit more of a different thing as well, as opposed to, you know, just squad-based, class-based, first-person shooter style stuff. Not that that's a bad thing. You're going to see some cool stuff here as the Trapper class, which was maybe my most favorite class of the whole time. But I talk a little bit more about the whole event, and, you know, full disclosure, 2K did pay for the travel and the hotel down there, as well as a couple of dinners. But the best thing about it was that we got to spend 4 or 5 hours sitting down and playing Evolve, and we got to rotate between any number of classes as much as we wanted, basically, which was super cool. But one of my favorite classes was the Trapper. You're seeing kind of an overlay of this, or an overview of what this class does here. I'll explain it myself, though. Don't worry about not being able to hear anything in the background right now. Basically, in Evolve, there's 4 classes. Assault, which is your DPS class, basically. Minigun, flamethrower, maybe like a lightning rifle, depending on which unit you take. There's the medic class, which has a healing gun or something that brings the dead teammates back to life as well. You can be the support, which also has like some way of giving your teammates like a shield that blocks all damage, or can spawn a whole bunch of turrets and stuff like that. Or you can be the Trapper, which is what we're going to be right here, and I saved the best for last. Now, I have to admit, before we get started here, this is not the best competitive game of Evolve ever. There's a lot of mistakes that happen, and in particular, I'm kind of like throwing the Rad Brad under the bus, because he was playing as the monster here, and it was his first time ever playing, but I think it's a really good game from the hunter perspective to see what happens. So he didn't actually know that you have to kind of like move right at the start, otherwise the enemies, or the hunters, which we are, will spawn right over top of you. But anyway, yeah, the hunter class, or sorry, the Trapper class, that's what I meant to say, has a kind of a dome shield, which can trap the monster in place. Like, the signature thing about this class is that you're trying to keep them in one given place, and, you know, not let them get away, because one of the advantages the monster has, especially early in the game when it's not trying to fight you, is its mobility. You can get away very easily. So you're seeing the dropship sequence here. I don't exactly know who I was playing with on this one, like which other personalities I was playing with, but I remember the Rad Brad being the monster, because this was one of the most notable ones from our perspective of that. So we're going to get into some combat right off the bat here, which is really cool. So if you look at the bottom right part of the screen, I've got 4 different abilities there, with different cooldowns kind of represented in you know, a radial menu like that. The ability that's probably the most important, we can see the monster over there. I probably shouldn't be getting too close to him, but I really want to make sure that I get that right ability, the dome shield, up and up properly as soon as possible. But unfortunately, I got eaten by a plant. There are some very hostile flora and fauna that you come across, and I'll get eaten by another monster before things really get taken off here. And I die a lot here, but we also do very well as a team, not to spoil things. So, yeah, this is my dome shield. I'm trying to get it put up, because if we can keep the monster from getting away and deal damage to him before he gets a lot of armor. So this is, you don't want to be in the water. What am I thinking being in the water here? I'm going to get eaten by a big old crocodile. There we go. He's going to thrash me around a little bit. The good news is, you know, that's like, they're jungle creeps, basically, like in Dota or League of Legends. They'll do damage to you, but they also will do damage to the enemies as well. Like, they'll do damage to the monster. So I've got low HP, but the best thing is I did get that radial shield down, so now the monster is trapped in here. Now, there's a bit of a Rorschach thing going on here. You know, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. We are trapped in here with the monster as well. But because it's at its first evolution, it's going to be the weakest it'll ever be over the remainder of the game. That's support, I think, giving us a team cloak there to help us out. That rock throw is going to come in, and I'll probably get knocked down in just a second. But in a way, I've almost done my job as the Trapper just by keeping the monster at bay here. That's my thinking. I should probably be a little bit further back, you know. It was our first time, well, one of our first times playing the game, so I still hadn't quite figured out, you know, that not every class maybe is supposed to be right next to it and dealing damage. You know, the knockdown and revive mechanic, very, very similar to Left 4 Dead. You can get revived a couple of times, but it does lower your overall HP, as you can see on the left side of my screen. We also have a jetpack, which is why, you know, when we're moving around here, sometimes you'll see me moving in kind of a Titanfall-y way, if you will. So, after you put down that mobile shield, it has a huge, or not mobile, but dome shield, it has a huge cooldown on it, because it is the most powerful ability, or the most signature ability at least. So we can use our harpoon gun like this, and what we want to do is land those harpoons. That's a good first step. And after we land those harpoons, we kind of hold the enemy in place. Again, we want to make sure that the monster doesn't get away, because, you know, when it gets away, it can eat, it can get bigger. And in particular, you can get the monster down to like 10% HP, and then it can just run away and eat and get its health back. And when it evolves, it gets all its health back, I believe. And it gets armor as well, the more creeps it eats, basically. Not that this is a MOBA, but, you know, that terminology kind of makes sense here. So, yeah, the harpoon gun's pretty important. Our dome shield's back and ready to go here. I'm going to put it down. I may die in the process. I can't remember if this one lands. Yeah, it totally does, but I'm going to get smoked anyway. That's okay. the other abilities that we have are, our main gun is just like this machine pistol, not the one you see right now. This is like our secondary, which you only use when you get knocked down, I think. But yeah, the machine pistol just kind of is like an SMG. It doesn't do very much damage, but it can help out a little bit in a firefight, and it's good for killing, you know, the kind of AI creeps that could be around. Watch out for that, you know, jumping guy in the ground there. And we also have sound spikes, and we put those down, and basically they're like little tripwires. So if they detect sound, basically, and if the monster makes sound near them, then they ping on our radar, and we can be like, oh, that sound spike we put down across the map just went off, so let's go investigate in that direction. Because what you're not seeing here is a big part of Evolve's gameplay, which is this cat and mouse, where this is not the monster, by the way. This is just a, oh, maybe the monster was behind it. I couldn't quite tell there. But this is just a big creep, basically, that allows you to, if you kill it, get a perk off of it. So I'm placing some sound sensors down here. We can place a lot of them. The cooldown on it is super low. When the monster runs into these, this will let us know where he is. And we are going to get a little bit of this cat and mouse, which is good, because that was a really kind of representative part of the gameplay. The medic just used like a healing AoE that he has there to heal us all up a little bit. Talk a little bit about what the other classes do as we hunt for the monster here. If he goes through an evolution, he might be a little bit more tricky to take down. There is another monster that we saw, by the way. Just unfortunately, the two best games that I had didn't really involve that second monster because he smoked us. The second monster is the Kraken. It's a little bit more underwater-y, but also it can fly, and it's got some like psychic and lightning type attacks. It plays very differently than Goliath, which is just kind of like a big old Godzilla type creature. The Kraken played much more like a unique monster, if that makes sense. So we're just still throwing down some spikes down here. So the medic class, you might be wondering, you know, what does the medic do besides just healing? They also have a sniper rifle, and basically when they shoot the monster with the sniper rifle, it tags them in an area and makes that area weak, so when you hit them there, you do double damage. It's not like if you hit them in the head and then somebody else shoots them in the head, they're going to die instantly. You know, the monster still takes hundreds and hundreds of shots to take down, but it can speed things up and is a nice little support weapon. There's two different... monster has climb speed bonus. I guess they got it. I just freed the medic from that that plant, by the way. I guess they got it by killing an enemy. But oh, we saw them for a second there. I think one of my sensors went off. Yeah, there we go. You can see it on the map right there. One of our sensors that was very close by has gone off, and it turned red, and that's why. And then we can kind of see the monster's footprints on the ground. That's one of the strategies that we can use to hunt it down. Because really, these maps are really, really big. You know, it can take you a couple of minutes to traverse from one side to the other. And especially, like, as a player, sometimes your jetpack makes it very difficult to move around. Because the jetpack fuel, which is on the right side there, doesn't last too long. So it did evolve. That's a little bit more dangerous, but you can see he scared some birds, so he's pretty close by. Oh, is that the evolution chamber right there? I think it is, so we might have done a lot of damage to him while he was super vulnerable. So we'll throw up our shield again. Again, this is the thing I'm most proud of when playing as the Trapper, is that all three of these shields I landed, and then I took some hits. I put myself very much in harm's way. But yeah, there's two different characters in each class as well. I won't go too far into that. But the other Trapper, they all have the shield, but the other Trapper has like a pet instead of the sound spikes, and the pet kind of like smells and tracks down the monster, which is cool. I think most people preferred to play as that Trapper. Instead of a harpoon gun, they also had harpoon traps that you could kind of passively set around, and if you got the monster with enough of them, then they would their movement would be really compromised. But yeah, this round's about to end. We're doing really well against the monster. Poor Rad. His first game as the monster had basically no idea what to do. I can relate to that, but I get to choose what footage I put up, and I put up the game where I actually sort of knew what I was doing as the monster, even though, well, no spoilers. Go watch it. I'm gonna try to revive my teammate here. But yeah, overall thoughts on Evolve. I talk a little bit more about this in the monster video. I basically have nothing negative to say, except for the fact that all the positive things I have to say are colored by the fact that we really did play it in the best environment possible. You know, we were 5 people all communicating with one another, you know, talking and getting into the game. If you play it online, maybe it's a little bit more of a toxic experience, but that doesn't have to matter until February. But yeah, I liked my time with Evolve a lot. Again, this video is a little bit on the shorter side because we did so well against the monster, but the average game of Evolve probably came in at around you know, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So this one's a little bit on the shorter side, but that's okay. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, more thoughts on the monster video. I'd encourage you to go check that out. But yeah, overall, I liked my time with Evolve a lot. I'm very excited to play more of it, especially on the stream when it comes out in February. I think if it turns out as good as people are thinking it's going to be right now, it's going to be excellent. And, you know, again, we sat down with it for 4 or 5 hours, and everybody just wanted to play more when it was over. So I apologize if this sounds like a shill, but, you know, Occam's Razor, the game is actually just a lot of fun. Especially, like, if you did a stream where, like, I was the monster and, like, I don't know, the viewers tried to hunt me or something like that. If we could avoid stream cheating somehow, that would be cool. Or, like, me, Nick, Josh, and Kate try to hunt down a viewer that's the monster or something. That might work better. That would be fun. Anyway, long story short, my brain's buzzing with possibilities right now. It's a great game from what we've played so far. Who knows? It's a work in progress. Anything could change. But I'm sure you know how to get your hands on Evolve when it comes out if you are interested in doing so. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, show your support. It helps out a great deal. And I hope you enjoyed this early look at a full game as a Trapper with some okay play, at least from my novice level. But again, in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.